What was it like in that room yesterday, man, when the word 16 million came out?
There was just honestly, I think there was an audible gasp. I'm not trying to sensationalize this,
Right.
but I mean, there were 15 cameras in that room. There were dozens of reporters, and we knew that we were there for Ippei Mizuhara. I don't think anybody on the outside, and I don't think many people on the inside thought the final number would end up being more than $16 million. I think that's just a number that a lot of people have a hard time getting their head around for obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, and I was just doing the math out there because the numbers are just staggering. They really are, Alden. I mean, that's the fact that this guy bet so much and so often and won 140 million and change and lost 180 million and change. And then he ripped off Ohtani of 16 million, allegedly. So where's the other 24 million? Like the numbers kind of don't add up, right? I mean, what is the status, best you know, on that, Alden?
Yeah, Rich, there's still a lot of unanswered questions here, and one of the questions that was posed was whether or not Shohei Ohtani is going to get his money back, and that's something that they don't know yet. As for the other $24 million, I can tell you that the illegal sports betting operation is under federal investigation. So I don't know that they're in a position to pay them or if they're in a position to receive money like that. But that's still left to be determined. I think, this happened pretty quickly. For it to be 3 weeks before they were able to charge Ippei Mizuhara with bank fraud was really fast. And because it was fast, I think there's just still a lot of questions that we still don't know the answers to. But I will tell you, and you went over some of this, Rich, before I came on, reading through that 37-page complaint. It is gambling addiction encapsulated. And I thought it came about as close to vindicating Shohei Ohtani in a situation that drew, understandably, a lot of cynicism from the outside as anybody could have possibly imagined. It is thorough. And I thought a few elements of that complaint stuck out to me. One was the fact that federal prosecutors combed through, it seems like, every text exchange that Ippei and Shohei had over that 3-year period in question and never found one reference from Shohei Ohtani to gambling, to props, to the bookmaker in question. There was evidence of Ippei from recorded phone calls with the bank impersonating Shohei Ohtani to get wire transfers through. And I thought the most damning part of it came at the end of that complaint, which is when these stories are finally breaking and Ippei Mizuhara reaches out to the bookkeeper to ask if he has seen the report. The bookkeeper tells him that it's probably not true and that regardless, he knows that he hasn't been stealing from Shohei Ohtani because he's been a middleman. And I'm paraphrasing here, obviously. Ippei said essentially, actually, that's not true. I have been stealing from him. Yeah. It is pretty damning. And just reading through all of it, I've read it 2-3 times already. There's so many parts of it that just I'm shocked by.
Yeah, Mizuhara used the word technically. I've been stealing from him, and I'd love to know his definition of technically because he was a technician, it does appear, in being deceptive. And the stunning details of deception that this lays out is shocking, but I think you do land on the most clearing, or I shouldn't use the word exculpatory, but I just did, for Ohtani, is exactly what you said, that 9,700 text messages in Japanese between the two men were analyzed. And at one point, I mean, even if he is covering his debts, as Mizuhara attempted in his first story to ESPN, to your colleagues, wouldn't you say that there would be a text saying, hey, did you make enough to pay me back? You know what I mean? Like at some point, there was not even a reference to any of that, Alden, in these text exchanges.
Yeah, and I think, Rich, coming off of this, the big question I still have, and I think this was a question that a lot of people had initially when this story started to break, and some of the details of this are in the complaint, is how do you go 6 years with an account that, according to this complaint, housed all of the money that Shohei Ohtani made as a player without anybody at his agency, without any of his financial advisors demanding to either have access to that account, which had tens of millions of dollars, I would presume, or at least asking Shohei Ohtani directly about whether it's okay that Ippei Mizuhara has sole access to the account. And just to sort of catch listeners up on what I'm referencing here, Ippei Mizuhara started that account for Shohei Ohtani in 2018 when he came to the United States. And according to the complaint, Ippei told Shohei Ohtani's representatives, his financial advisors, that Ohtani wanted to keep it private. And the complaint states that they all went through Ippei Mizuhara to communicate about this account. And so nobody else ever had access to it. Nobody else brought it up to Shohei Ohtani. That's the most one of the wilder parts of the complaint to me. And I will say, in my mind, this kind of illustrates, if this is indeed the case, what is sort of a perfect storm around Ohtani when you have an athlete who is so hyper-focused on doing something that's never been done in baseball, coming over to the United States, not speaking the language, the dynamic of a Japanese player, Japanese superstar, and his interpreter, and how much an interpreter is in charge of. And just the fact that Shohei Ohtani and Ippei Mizuhara have a relationship dating back to 2013. The people at CAA, the people around Shohei Ohtani's inner circle, didn't get to know him until after that had been established. And so that could be a path towards why you would think they would only communicate with Ippei Mizuhara. But as I said previously, it was just the perfect sort of confluence of events, if this is all indeed the case, that would allow somebody like Ippei to wire $16 million from a player's account without that player knowing.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.